self-care is not selfish. It's actually the biggest part of showing love that you could offer to your family, your friends, and your community.
As women, we nurture and take care of the world. And so it's just so important to make your health, your self-care numero uno. So
get around people who are going where you want to go and who are where you want to be. And that's exactly what I did. I wanted to be in real estate, so I got around people who were doing things in real estate that I wanted to do.
So you might not be able to move things around or change what happened to you, but if you can change the way that you see it and how you're reacting to it, there's a way.
Just do what you have to do. There's no excuse. This morning, I knew that if I didn't get up at 4 in the morning and clear out my emails and do everything that I needed to do.
You don't want the government to dictate or a judge to dictate how your hard-earned sacrifice and wealth gets distributed to your family and your loved ones.
Our culture is embedded in American culture. There are people who come to America and engage in American culture, which is Black culture. So Juneteenth is really about Black culture, and it's about celebrating us, celebrating the different diasporas of Black people, even the dialects.
Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Thursday. I hope you all are enjoying the cold, frigid air. Like I'm sitting here with my blanket trying to stay warm. Trust me, this is no joke. But hello, everyone. My name is Athenia Rodney, CEO and founder of Juneteenth NYC. And I am super excited to have you here joining us for another Lunch and Learn Juneteenth Thursday in the new year and the winter months. So we have a very special person that will be joining us on today. Things are moving, life is moving. Somebody said yesterday, Happy New You. And I was like, you know what? I like that. I actually like this Happy New You thing, right? Because every year I say my New Year's doesn't start until my birthday. So I got a couple more months. So I'm still like in November for me. But this is definitely a time of planning. And this is the first quarter, the first month of the first quarter. Usually a time when businesses are pretty slow and people are in a space of planning and momentum growth. We had our board meeting last night and we talked a lot about just what's going on for us. And that is a big thing that we are continuing to push. It's like, what's going on for us? Like tap into yourself, tap into who and what's going on in your own space, because we can't control the things that are around us, the world, politics. We can't control any of those things. The only thing we can control is us and how we show up in that space. And so I'm always in the space of encouraging you and myself, talking to myself as well on how am I tapping in the things that I'm doing, being impactful, my word for the year, right? What's my impact? And how am I creating space for others in my impact as well? So I hope that you will enjoy today's conversation. I am looking really forward to it. And so I'm going to introduce and bring to the stage our speaker for today, which is Ms. Nadra Smiley. We are going to be talking about how beauty culture is evolving to a texture-specific science education and community authority, and why this shift matters for our people, our safety, and our legacy. That was a long one, but trust and believe that this is going to be a great conversation. Nadra's a textured hair specialist. She's an educator and a product innovator whose work lives at the intersection of lived experience, ancestral knowledge, yes, and professional practice, tapping into those ancestors. I love it. Her leadership has helped move the natural hair industry away from one-size-fits-all beauty standards and towards science-backed, culturally grounded education and formulation. I absolutely love that. And I think that is so important in the work that we're doing right now and what we are hearing. Especially as we're going into this conversation about our hair. We're going to also talk about the hair show that's coming up as well. February 15th and 16th. She's the founder of Serology, the professional and scientific field dedicated to the study and care of textured hair, a bold and necessary framework that centers textures as something that must be understood, not can or will or might, but it must be understood. It must be protected and put some spect on it and must be respected as well. Because yeah, we're gonna talk about that, but I'm not gonna go into that yet. But yes, the respect on our care, like yeah, respect it. As the founder of Evolving Textures, Nadra has built a brand rooted in plant-based formulation, non-toxic standards, and texture-specific performance. Her work challenges outdated beauty systems that rely on generic solutions, extractive practices, and surface level representation, replacing them with education, ownership, and accountability. So let's welcome Miss Nadra Smiley to the stage. Hello, Miss Smiley. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I was like patting myself on the back, hearing you.
Go ahead, sis. Look, I'm gonna pat you on the back too because you are absolutely doing it, and I'm really excited to have you with us on today. You have a very extensive bio and so much in that space. I want to first give you the moment to introduce yourself if there's anything that we may have missed, to say hi to the people. And then I'm going to jump in because I already want to tap into this ancestral space and who's your ancestor that you connect with.
Yes, let's tap in. So I am Nadra Smiley, founder of Evolving Textures. My background comes from a very long history, personal history in natural hair care and beauty, but being a legacy child of the natural hair care movement, the professional movement, the industry that kind of started and shaped itself with the Braiders International Guild, you know, women from around the country in the 80s coming together to build the professionalism of braiding and natural hair. So my mom is Amazon Smiley. I worked under her for since I was 16. I'm now about to be 44, so it's a long history. We started out as educators, you know, in the field, teaching people how to care for their hair, but also how to build a business in this industry. And we opened a school, one of the first schools in Illinois, called Amazon Natural Look Academy, where we were, a license came around. 2012, we opened our school as one of the first licensed braid schools in Illinois. And it was a very significant time because at that time, there were not a lot of states that had licensing for natural hair and braiding. So we were building standards around how you care for textured hair, you know, and it's very specific on how you care for it and the respect you got to put on the people that you're caring for, the community that you're caring for. So one of the things that we are now advocating for 10, 11 years, 13 years later is keeping the right to have our own governance of our profession, right? To be able to govern how we wear our hair, you know, that was started with the Crown Act. And now we're, you know, back circling around whether or not what we do is a profession, if it's science backed, because we don't use chemicals. So it's some deep stuff going around, and it's, for me, it's all about equity and inclusion, but ownership of our space. And right now, you know, in the beauty space, it is a multi-billion-dollar business, and we have the largest consumers, but yet we have no stake. And I am looking to see changes in that. And we are advocating with the Natural Hair Professionals Coalition, a group of women in Illinois who decided, okay, we got to be together and we have to make our own rules around textured hair care. and who is the authority in teaching it? Are we going to give it away? Is that what we're doing? Are we giving it away?
Well, it's been more like taken than given away, because I feel like for a lot of us, we don't have the opportunity. We don't have the financial, like we have the great ideas. We can come up with ideas. I have one of the a person on my board. She's like scared, right? She's in this space of fear because she had an idea of a hair oil, and she was trying to kind of talk to some people about it. Somebody took the idea and started promoting it, started building it out and doing. And so like, she's like, I have other ideas, but I'm scared to bring it anywhere because now I don't want that idea to be taken from me. So I think we have always been in a space of, we're creative minds. Like African Americans have always been creative minds, right? We're about to go into Black History Month, where we start talking about all of the things that we created. And a lot of it was because we wanted better ways to be able to do things that we had to do, right? We had to iron, we had to straighten our hair. Like, how can we do this faster? And so we're in this space where things are constantly being taken from us and they're being utilized, you know, for and the people who have the money are the ones who are making money off of it, not us, or getting the recognition off of it, not us. So
I'm going to challenge you there a little bit.
Okay.
Challenge you there a little bit.
Come on.
Because of course, you know, I understand the fear of it all. Okay, I get it. I mean, when you're in it, you're scared almost every day, because you know, the more you get involved in building a business, creating ideas, it's a very scary place. So yeah, women are typically the gatekeepers for imposter syndrome, right? We are the creators, right? We have the innovative ideas, and in particularly when it comes to the beauty industry. But guess, you know, what sex owns the majority of the beauty industry? Male, right? We're the biggest consumers, but
we don't own much. Again, yeah,
talking about that way because of this scarcity mindset, you know. And I think that that's where we have to start. We have to start with healing and coming out of the scarcity mindset with, you know, with leading with fear. We can't lead with fear because this is just my personal belief. You know, every idea that we create, it was created by the creator, and the creator created it for us to give it away. Absolutely. So we have to continue to give it away so other people can enhance those ideas and gifts. But we also have to learn about how do we protect our intellectual property.
Yes.
So a lot of it is about education. Of course, it's about money. So when it comes to money, that it goes back into the scarcity mindset, because guess how other cultures are able to build into this space? They work together, right? Yeah. They work together. So that's something that we have to learn to do. We have to get out of the mindset of scarcity and allow ourselves to build together. Can you imagine if most of the $1 million companies had become a conglomerate, you know, in the beauty space? The beauty brands like Miel and Courtney and all of these brands, before they sold, can you imagine if they became a conglomerate and then kind of took over? That's the kind of mindset that we have to start creating for us to make effective change. So I'm challenging everybody.
No, now I'm gonna push back. I'm gonna push back on you, because this is a conversation that continues to keep coming up, right? And this is about trust in the Black community. So what do you feel like is the underlying or the undergirding issue with us being able to trust each other so that we can create what I consider land trust for businesses, right? There's this idea of land trust where people contribute financially to a pot, and then with that land trust, we're able to purchase different things, whether it be land or businesses or property, whatever it is. But we can't get into the space of this land trust because we we don't trust each other. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna give you. I'm okay with giving you like $100, but you want like $5,000-$10,000? Like, I don't know. Like, you know, I worked real hard for that $5,000-$10,000. I'm not sure I'm willing to part or, you know, in that space. And then how do I know you're not going to take it and, you know, start this business and then buy me out or, you know, kick me to the side and I don't get anything out of it? So like, what is your thoughts about trust in the Black community?
I mean, it's the same. I think I take it back to what I was saying about a scarcity mindset. If you don't shift your mindset, then you're never going to be able to grow and move forward. And the only way that you can do that is through healing and through education. So when we talk about trust, it goes two ways, right? We can talk about trust in women. And we can talk about, right, because we got a double whammy, and then we can talk about trust in the Black community, right? So it's the mindset of, you know, I've worked so hard for this, and I'm not about to let anybody come in and take it away. Instead of let's put it together so we can build. You know, if she wins, then my name will get overshadowed. So then it becomes about ego, right?
Yep.
So instead of we're both winning, we have to learn to run and point is something I learned, which means that when she is winning, then I'm going to encourage her on. So when I start winning, then she starts to encourage me on. We have to figure out how to push each other forward. And like I said, a lot of these billion-dollar companies, you talk about Uber, you talk about so many of these companies, these white boys, they get together, they put the money together, you know. But if I call up a girlfriend and say, hey, I need you to be my partner, we could do this together. And she's like, well, what name is it going to be under? Or, you know, like it's all these things. So it's about healing. Like you have to heal to move forward. And you have to worry about how can I be the best that I can be instead of worrying about what she's doing, right? Because we're sisters at the end of the day. So I know we're going through it, but we're going through it together. If I could build, and that's what I'm working on. I'm working on building a beauty company that all of my customers have buy-in. Okay. They all have equity. Now that's a place to start. I'm a small company, right? But at the end of the day, that's how we can grow and build out, and then you build bigger and you continue to build bigger. But if nobody is willing to put their ego aside to make those kind of things work, then we're still scraping just to get by. I mean, I see it in advocacy. I see it in policy. I see it in, you know, and business and in money. So that's where we start. We start to heal our own wounds because they are generational. They are generational. You know, they're backed by what we've been taught, how we were treated, you know, and then because we're living in a country that we've been here all of our lives, but yet we're scattered. And then we're upset when immigrants migrate in and then they come together. And we're like, why we can't do that? Because we're second class citizens, yet we've been here longer than everybody. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of generational scars that we have to not even work through, like just work on building the mindset of I want more for me, and I have to change the way I've been thinking so I can do it a different way. Like,
you hit on so many. You hitting on so many things, Nadra, because like I started at the top of this. We had a board meeting last night, and my what I've learned about leadership is more so about pouring into the people who you're leading, because in order for them to lead powerfully and to feel confident, they have to be empowered by me. And that's not me saying, that's taking the ownership off of me and putting the ownership onto them because they're doing the work. They're the ones that's being in community. I'm just the figure, right? The person who, like, I take the brunt of it when things don't go right, and I get the brunt of it when things do go right.
I love that you said that, because it makes me think of a quote that I had to play over and over again in my mind. And I was like, that's it. I get it. And I changed it a little bit, but it's leaders are not the people who are stand up in a room, have the biggest voice. Leaders are the ones who create space for others to become leaders and create beautiful creative spaces, right? So it's an act of service, and we do it so you can lead, you know? So it's not just on you. It's not your responsibility to show up all the time. You're leading leaders for them to become leaders, so they can take it over when you're not able to. And that's about building legacy. That's how we build legacy.
And that was my deposit for Christmas. God said, what if you're not here? What if you're not here anymore? How does this go on? Does it die when you die? Like, how does that look? And I do coaching for business expansion, and I'm constantly, and it's funny because I'm constantly talking to other people about that, but it never settled in my own spirit. I always say a doctor can't operate on himself, right? So, God operates on me. So God is always in my ear, and he's always like, all right, sis. And like you said, my gifts are not for me. My gifts are for others. So God gave me the experiences, everything that I've gone through, so that I can pour into somebody else, so that I can relate to somebody and be like, sis, I've been there. Like, I've been in this, I've been on public assistance. I've been there. Like, I've been this, that. Like, I can say that I've been in the lowest of lows, and I can say I've been in the highest of highs. So I'm like, I can relate in the whole gamut, and pull you up as well. And I tell people all the time, and this is why I was asking you that question, Nadra. We cannot grow in competition. The only way we can grow is when we are in collaboration, and that's the mission of Juneteenth, is collaboration. Like, we are cultures against cultures. How do we bring all these cultures together under this umbrella to say, like, yes, we experienced this trauma with enslavement, and how do we move past it? How do we stop living in it? And how do we move past it? How do we continue to grow in that space? So I'm going to pause there, because I do, even just talking about enslavement and stuff like that, you talked about ancestralism, and I am big on that as well. I pull a lot of my own from Harriet Tubman, right? She's like my ancestor that I'm constantly, she walking side by side, like she's always in my ear. I'm always seeing her, and she was an imposter, right? She had to be this person to a bunch of different people in every space she went in order to gain their trust. Like, she wasn't able to go through the Underground Railroad by herself. Like, she needed people to hide her, to protect her, to clothe her, to feed her, and not just her, but a bunch of other people, including babies. And I'm like, I had kids, I have children, I couldn't keep them quiet. So let alone traveling with them for long periods of time through water, through the woods, through all of these, so I'm just thinking about what that looked like, and what she did as far as leadership, and how she put her life.
Eliminating ego because of the bigger picture. I think that when, of course, we could talk about this all day long, right? On so many different, you know what I'm saying? On so many different levels. But my take is eliminating ego. And, people think of ego as arrogance, but it's really a constant voice of negativity in the back of your mind that you have to change with God's voice, right? So whatever you're thinking badly, that's ego. Whatever you're thinking that's protecting, defending, that's ego, right? So but God's voice is, what's telling you to give, what's telling you to do good. So whenever we correct ourselves and apologizing and forgiving, so that's a lot of what we have to go through personally, is forgiving, forgiving ourselves, forgiving others, so we continue to give. Because when you talk about Harriet Tubman, that when you telling those stories, that's what I hear. She put ego on the side, because if she didn't, then that meant that the future of our generation will not be able, or they'll be here. They'll be
Yeah.
repeating this cycle over and over again. Girl, now you got me thinking about Octavia Butler. But
Come on, you gotta tell me. So who's your ancestor? Who do you pull from? Who's your ancestor that you pull from?
mine is Annie Turnbow Malone.
Okay, talk to me.
Malone. Annie Turnbow Malone created, she created products for textured hair. And she created these products. She was actually the first millionaire. And you never hear her story, because she actually mentored and coached Madam C.J. Walker. And Madam C.J. Walker worked for her. And when you see that, girl, this is how they do us, right? I think as women, it's always an agenda to pit us against each other. When
Absolutely.
they did the story of Madam C.J. Walker, they did do a peek into who Annie Turnbow Malone was. And when you research who she was, what she built, what she cultivated, I mean, she was before the pink Cadillacs, you know? She had an army of women who sold her products. She had I think it was a 20,000 square foot facility where they taught. They had a theater, they had community rooms. Girl,
I'm reading.
she was a bad jammer. But when
I'm reading, like, and I've never heard about her. Like, yeah, like we gotta.
You never hear her story, because she was all about what was rooted in the community of her people, not giving it away. And most of the time when we hear stories about our legacy, it's because they sold, something to make that $1 million. But she was building $1 million to contribute to building a community, right? And that's what we have to get back to.
She started a school, Poro College. Is that school still around?
It is right now. Is it in Illinois? It's not a school anymore. It's not a school anymore. It's a different kind of building, but it's abandoned. Yeah.
School chain. It's in St. Louis. Okay. Missouri. Wow. Like, okay, now see, that's somebody I'm putting on the docket. We got to talk about her. When I
celebrate, yes, we need to see like women, and that's the other part that's happening, right? And like when you talked about your friend who had the idea of creating the oil, and then those events transpired where now she's like, okay, no, I can't do it. I'm scared. When people need to hear these stories, like women coming into the beauty industry, into the space, so they can know what they're capable of.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a lot of the fear, and fear creates more ego, and and then it starts to pit you against that person, because you don't want anybody to outshine you. But it's okay for somebody to outshine you, and you cheer them on.
Yeah.
Because then you have them to cheer you on when you shine.
Absolutely. So say, how can I help? We need to, like you said, do more in acts of service like that. How can I help mentality? My aunt, I always talk about her. She's a general in the Army. And I did an event with her, and she picked people up from the airport. She was taking them to drop them off at their hotel. She's like taking them to get something to eat, and just she holding mics for them. Like she's like just humble. And I'm like, in the Army, she like all the way up here. Like she has thousands of people under her catering to her, and here she is outside of her Army space in civilian world, and she's just catering and catering and catering. And I was like, that is such a act of service, to not always be in the space of like, oh, I'm this person. And I would like to say or hope that I operate in that same space because I've seen that as an example. And I hope that I'm giving that to those that are around me as an example as well. But
yeah, I understand. Yep, I understand that feeling too, because it's like I know there have been times where I haven't been that, you know what I mean? Where I haven't been the best version of myself, where then I can reflect and be like, okay, when I get this opportunity again, now it's like you learn from it. You know, being almost 45, like I have been in so many stages of leadership and ownership. And if I didn't have those lessons, I wouldn't be preaching this gamut that I'm preaching right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen the destruction and the demise, whether it was somebody else or whether it was something that I wanted to do, what it can do to destroy an idea or a business when you start to think of, you know, everything in terms of me, like what can I do? I swear when we talk about a solution, if we could start thinking of, no, forget that. We need to start thinking of, I need to build something that is right now, that is going to benefit those in the future. But right now we're in the mindset, I need to build something right now so I can get this. If we start thinking of, yes, so I can make it, right? But if we start thinking of, I need to build something right now that's going to benefit the future generation, then it's not like you're not working for yourself anymore, and you stop the fear. It stops the fear, because when you're dead and gone, it's going to be benefiting somebody else. So automatically the universe starts working in your good, because you're doing it.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. All right.
Hey, like you got the spirit on me, girl. you got the bug on me.
Oh my gosh, this has been such a good conversation. Okay, let's talk about some of the stuff we actually we didn't veer all the way off, but it was good. It was good. Stuff. I want to talk about the Crown Act. You talked about the governance around our hair and how that is such a big piece. And even looking at some of your social media pieces, and you're an advocate, like you are advocating so much in spaces and in getting people to sign bills and to pay attention to politics. So can you talk to us a little bit about, like, just for my own ignorance and others, I'm sure, who are watching, where we are with the Crown Act? Well, first of all, what is the Crown Act? Where we are with the Crown Act, and what other, I guess, things are on the docket that we need to be paying attention to?
So the Crown Act was a national bill that was passed, and it was government, right? So there are different acts and laws that become created. You know, some are government, and some are just state legislation, right? So when the Crown Act was passed, some states took it on, right? There are still some states that are don't have the Crown Act as part of law, and it's an employment act. It means that your employer can't discriminate against you for your hair, but it also means that it's under the discrimination and just protecting people's rights. So it's different than when you talk about building governance and law around the profession. So right now you have it in employment. We're kind of protected, even though some states and people can do what they want to do and not tell you, they don't have to tell you it's about your hair. The bottom line is that it was created because it made people uncomfortable. And even if we're being honest, it made some Black people uncomfortable,
Let's talk about it.
Look, if you really want to get into the root of it, so most of the time when you have that kind of discrimination and so many things, not just discrimination against like race and color and things like that, but it's also, self-hatred, you know.
I was about to go there because I'm gonna raise my hand also. Like I went to predominantly white school, right? And I was that perm my hair since I was 16. As soon as I was able to, I was getting my hair permed like on a regular basis. And I did a domestic exchange at Spelman College and took a class over at Morehouse. I think it was called the Black what was it, African American Experience. And I walked into that class, and the first day I was ready to drop because they got in my behind. They was like, "You trying to be white?" I'm like, "Whoa, how y'all doing? Like, how does this work?" It was, I mean, it was a straight on argument. Like, look at you. You can't even come in here in your natural self. You perming your hair. You trying to be like them, like, And I'm like, but we have to do what we have to do we got to assimilate so that we can understand the process, right? Be at the table. Like, how can we get a seat at the table if they looking at us like y'all already? They're already looking at us like we apes and like we this aggression that we have. So how can I come and sit at the table looking aggressive and they not be looking at the external parts before they hear my heart? So like, yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the self-hate because
talking about pulling back onions. Let me tell you, oh Lord Jesus.
But now look, I'm straight here, my hair way down to my butt, like in locks.
Yeah,
so.
but you just talked about a lot. You talked about the dynamic, the internal dynamic that we have, discrimination both ways against each other, right? Yep. And then you talked about class, right? Class on how people see you, in terms of, whether or not they'll hire you because of how you look, how you wear your hair, all of those different things. Internally, right? We just got through talking about that too. Like for me, like, I don't care how you decide to wear your hair. I don't have any discrimination against white women. I don't have any discrimination against women who wear relaxer, who, might have a press and curl. I don't care. All I care about is when you decide you want to change your lifestyle and how you wear your hair, how I can best care for you and cultivate that process for you, that journey, right? How I can build confidence inside of you of standing in your own beauty and saying, I am enough. That's my responsibility. But it's not my responsibility to make you feel worse. Because I don't care. I can educate you. And I think that's sometimes people don't know how to express themselves. And that's what's happening with the internal conflict and why we can't get things done, why we can't get businesses done, why we can't properly advocate for things together without it being these set of Black people over here and these set of Black people over here, because of, how we're communicating with each other, right? We're projecting how we feel about ourselves onto others instead of empathizing with one another and saying, okay, she has to go through this process for her. Let me tell her the process that I went through. And maybe that's how, it might touch her, it might affect her to want to do something different. We don't talk to each other like that, No. We talk to each other like, oh, this little girl thinks she knows what she's talking about.
Right. This talk down.
Yeah. That kind
this you better instead of the I. What do they say in groups? We need to say the I. This is how I experienced it, what I was going through, and what and how.
And that's the problem in leadership. That's the problem in leadership. We're not leading with empathy, and we have to start leading with empathy because we're not trying to change what people are doing. We're just trying to get them to see things a little bit differently, see things how other people see things. And, It's just, and so when we talk about policy, it's the same thing. We have to come together to strengthen it, to show that we are strong in numbers, because we can't get a bill passed. We can't get movement to actually happen unless we have numbers, right? So if I communicate to you that historically we need to protect the rights of not just being able to wear our hair the way we want, but we need to be able to teach it. We need to be able to govern what products are being sold to us. We need to be able to have ownership and equity in those products that are being sold to us. If you guys have cosmetology schools, we need to have a serology school. We need to be able to create just as you are creating, instead of you taking, right? Because cosmetology had not included textured hair for over 100 years.
A long time.
But now the market is telling them
they had no choice.
We need to get into this, right?
Because they want to get into it. I mean, we have Europeans that want to get into.
They didn't want to. They didn't want to, because we're talking about white men are the leaders, right? Yeah. They're the ones who at the helm who have the money. So they didn't want to include it, but the market told them what they had to do. You know what I mean? Right. So, and it was a lot of pushing. We're on just this year of Milady including natural hair in their textbooks, right? And when we talk about multi-billion-dollar conglomerates, some people will argue with me that it's in the product. It's not, we don't need to be worrying about legislation in schools, because schools just got started 100 years of, the governance of schooling. But what we teach is what people buy. We have to teach them what to buy. So it starts at the educational level, right?
Absolutely.
So we have to start with owning these spaces, and we don't. So if we don't advocate together and stop worrying about, okay, well, they're doing that, that's different. No, it's not different, because guess what? She looks like me. That means it's not different.
Right.
That means that we can create different segments of what we're doing, and it doesn't have to look identical, but we can still have ownership together. When you think about the main beauty schools who, when I say the main, the beauty schools who have the most money, they work together. They share the same curriculums. They're not recreating wheels, right? But when it comes to textured hair, they cannot talk about our hair without including the history of it. And they don't understand the history. They don't respect the history, which means they can't teach it. So I'm not an advocate for cosmetology wrapping textured hair into their curriculum. We need to have our own. And for me, that's not a debate that I'm willing to have with people. We're fighting for this or we're not. We're not going to be humble and just take what we can get. No, we continue to fight because we're fighting for the future. So I want my niece to be able to own her own school and business and build and be a part of that market share.
So can I, and I'm push back on this in a couple of different spaces, right? So when is it a and or kind of situation? Like, so do we not, for lack of a better word, like encourage them, right?
The only reason I'm fluid and I'm having this conversation like we're having it, because we're saying whatever we want to say. I'm saying whatever.
Right. So to force them to have it in their curriculum, right? To have pieces in their curriculum, because I'm here in Georgia, and when I go get my hair done, I go to the schools to get my hair done, and in the schools there are, I would say 90% of the people who are in the schools are African Americans who are doing the hair. But when I talk to them and I come with my locks, they're like, oh, well, we're not really being taught about locks. And so I'm sitting there, I'm teaching them about how to protect and how to do be locticians. And unless they already have a background or they've been doing hair and doing locks themselves outside before they even went into school, they really don't have much of knowledge in that space. And so I'm like, there needs to be space there too, where in these large institutions that they are teaching about cultural hair, because the people who are going into the salons who have the most didactic styles or hair configurations are going to be African Americans, right? Our natural hairs and all the things that we can do with it. And because this is a conversation, and we're going to talk about this with Tondo, that him and I are constantly having, because I'm trying to get him to like start at school. Like, I'm like, you have all of what it takes, especially when you're talking about the first conversation that you need to have with anybody before they even touch you is you need to be interviewing them. Don't let them touch your hair. You got to make sure that energy, we're talking about ancestral energy, we're talking about faith energy. Like, there's so many things that you as an individual are releasing through your fingertips into somebody's dome that is their entire body, and you just going to sit there and just let them do what they do. And so that part, for me, is where our schools come into place, because hair is not just, even going into the Bible, like with Sam, like when he cut his hair, he lost all of his powers, like, and so if it was in the Bible and we deflect from it and we're like, it is what it is. Oh, hair is just hair. It's like, no, hair is not just hair. And I know you talk about this like one size fits all. Like, there is no one size fits all to anything.
Absolutely. Even for you, right? There's no one size fit all for my hair or your hair. Like, my hair, my one head of hair has the most. Look, virtually every position on my head has a different pattern or shape. Okay? So it's not, I can't do what I can do over here. So now we're talking about, just a whole subset of people. When you talk about hair, we talk about people with textured hair. Is basically, it is what it is. It comes from your racial background. And the reason that it's like textured hair now is because it's an evolutional shift in culture, because there's so much diversity in the ethnicities of people, right? But then all of this is evolving and changing over time. And if you're not studying, behind it, do you want them to teach you? They're not even studying it.
Yeah.
Respect it. It's constantly evolving. They're not updating it. They don't know the history behind it. They don't know why we started wearing braids. They don't know, the dynamic shifts of when we started becoming proud to wear the afro. I don't want them teaching me. That's me, right? But I understand what you're saying. It's like we have to allow them to create a space for people who are going there. I don't think so, but I understand what you're saying. I think that in terms of what we build, we need to stop talking about who is the authority of it and build it as a collective and just do it and shut up. You know what I mean? Do the work, let's get it done, and let's get it passed, and let's keep moving that way. Because there's so many different arguments that I've heard most of my life for women that I and men that I totally respect in this industry, but it's the same argument, and you guys aren't moving forward. Right?
Yeah,
the laws are changing. Let's get ahead of that. They're using different language. Let's get ahead of that. We can't say I ain't saying textured hair, because that's some stuff they made up. So what? If they're saying that means that they're building SEO, what's that? Search engine optimization. So if I put in right now textured hair education, guess who is the first company that comes up?
Let's see.
It's going to trip you out when you see it. And these are all the people who fought against having textured hair a part of their education.
Textured hair education, pivotpoint.com, Pro Beauty Association.
Yeah.
Who is textured hair? Who is Pivot Point International? Who is that?
Pivot Point is one of the largest beauty school and educational conglomerates. Pro Beauty Association is an association of cosmetology, right? And people in the beauty industry and all different markets, retail, beauty products, distribution, and they are supposed to advocate for, whatever the new influences are in the beauty industry. But when I became a member of the Pro Beauty Association 10 years ago, they had no interest in natural hair and braiding, right?
Yeah.
So you can't just learn that information and say, okay, now we're for it. And you have been totally ignorant, purposely ignorant to it. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying you can't, I'm not saying that they can't do it, but they need to help us do it. That's the way I want them to be a part of it. You help us do it. We're not helping you do it.
You do it. And I agree. So I just went to the news and see what's like the hottest thing. Washington State, Vermont, and Maine joined 5 other states to pass legislation requiring textured hair education in all cosmetology schools, including defined as curly, coily, and wavy hair education.
Girl, what's happening is so much deeper than we see on surface level.
Absolutely.
So much deeper than we see on surface level, because on one side that this is happening, there are, and I get why, I get the need and I get why, but we have to start thinking innovatively in terms of our ownership and our equity. And that's
I agree. So what do we do? So what do we do? How do we make this happen? Like I'm all about let's not talk about it, right? I say, like you said, right? We build off each other. It was a reason why we connected. There's a reason why we were, have been in this space as well. And this conversation has blown my, like, I feel like we sisters. I'm like, that's my girl right there. So, like, how do we? Now you got me revved up because I'm like, okay, so how do we do this?
I'm so glad.
Like, here is not even my thing.
Right?
I have a little girl. I have sons. Like my sons want to get into doing curls and doing all of this stuff, and so like, what do we need to do? What's the steps that need to be taken in order for us to create a table of our own?
I love this question because it's like, okay, what's next? Right? I love this. So one of the first things that we have to do is to openly be loud about it, and like for me, I love that we're doing this right here in this moment, in this space, because sometimes the imposter syndrome will come over and, I get quiet and just start working in the background. So we have to feed off of each other and know that, I'm going through it. I need you to be loud right now, right? I need you to voice that it's all about what we're protecting. What we're protecting is our history, our ownership, and our future equity in the space of our own hair. Okay. So that's one thing we have to start talking about it. Like, who's creating the standard and who's being held accountable for those standards to be protected, right? So that's the first thing we got to start.
Who is creating the standards? So like, who are martyrs, right? Because like we also in this space where nobody wants to be a Martin Luther King, right? We just celebrated his birthday Monday. Nobody wants to be him because they like, I don't want to be dead. Like, so they're like, no, I don't. So people are more in a space of, let's come to the table as a collaboration because they can't possibly shoot all of us at the same time. So So, and even thinking about the presidency, right? The president and vice president are never in the same space. Why? Because they want to make sure that if something happens to one, that someone's able to take on the leadership and carry the torch. So I love what you just said about, I need somebody that if I'm down, I need you to be able to hold space and to be loud and to do what I'm doing. And then when you need to fall back, then I'm here. And then when I get both of us, there's somebody else. So like, again, who's currently in that space?
Mm-hmm. So right now, when we talk about like what's going on, so the governance of it, right? So right now, while this is happening, the what is this called? The Textured Education Collective. While that's happening and they're doing state licensing requirement laws, there's another movement that's been happening that's getting bigger, which is the Institute for Justice is a law firm that is collectively, state by state, going around deregulating, devaluing the profession of natural hair and beauty and telling people why it should be deregulated, right? So they're removing it out of laws state by state, even though Black women have been, or women of color, let me say that, because not just Black women of color have been fighting to create standards. So then you have them. Who's feeding them? Who's paying them, right? So how do you have them at the same time you have this, right? Get rid of them. It's they have, but get rid of them.
It's so difficult because them has money. So
right. And so that is another part of it. So as we get loud, it's a step-by-step process because we're building now so we can create something better for the next generation. And as that happens, the universe continues to give to us. Right.
Oh, Nadra, we're gonna work together, girl. Like you, I'm fired up inside. Like
you gotta get other people fired up. We gotta get other people fired up to know their power. Because one of the things I am specifically saying to my group of ladies is, you're not a hair braider. And they're like, what? I'm not. No, you're not a hair braider. You are a textured hair specialist. You're an entrepreneur in the beauty space that's constantly evolving. As soon as a client sits in your chair, you are responsible for every single strand on their hair. So if you don't know how much weight to put on those strands, then you can think of yourself as just a braider, but you have taken the responsibility on to service people, which means that you need to be educated and knowledgeable about the science behind textured hair. That's your responsibility. So when you say, I'm just braiding hair, I don't need no license, right? Because you have those. We got all these different segments, but they're not coming together. And we need to encourage them that you are more than what you say you are. You are more than what you say you are.
Absolutely. That empowerment piece, that's that empowering piece. Oh, Nadra, girl, it is 12:58. We done went all the way. So this has been great. This has been an amazing conversation. I feel like you got to come back again because we didn't even get into like what serology is. Like there's so many things, the plant-based, so much things that I feel like we got to have a part 2. So I'm just prefacing y'all so that y'all know that we gotta come back to this.
We definitely gonna have a part 2.
This was absolutely amazing. I thank you so much for your knowledge. I thank you for your stand in the community. And I thank you for, I love the textured hair specialist. Like, come on, like that is, we have to come up off of within our language. And, my husband is constantly sharing to me, he's like, we get frustrated and we get angry, we get physical because we don't have the language to express our emotions. And that is exactly what it is. We don't have the language to express our talent a lot of times as well. And so we dumb down our talent, we dumb down ourselves, and people look at it in a menial way. Last week was having a conversation about barbers and the price of hair, the hair cutting going from $50 $50 to $100 and just again and continue to have that conversation. I'm really excited about the hair show that's coming up on February 16th and 15th and 16th.
It's my birthday.
Oh, yay. Hey, happy early birthday. But you are going to be one of our speakers for that event. Can you share a little bit about that in our last minute or so?
So I'm really excited to be a part and asked to be involved in this event. When Kafele called, I was like, oh wait, is my voice?
We can hear you. You good?
Okay, good. When Kafele called, I was like, I'm on it. I love what he's doing and building communities. So in a space, right? This is where the times are going virtually. So we can all meet, we can all come together, and we can all have this discussion. Because one of the things that's really important is I need to respect your position, and you need to respect mine, and you need to hear me. So let's come together, let's talk about it, and then maybe we can change the world.
Not maybe. We will, because like I said, we gotta operate in that space of power for sure.
Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited that you guys are partners for it. I want it to be as big as it can be. So there are a lot of conversations that are going to be had. There are some presentations. So let's say that. So I'll be one of the presenters. And I'll be presenting about the shift in policy and governance and science-backed education, and how you build that advocacy for getting laws changed around textured hair care, and then there are going to be some professionals teaching you how to do locks and twists and different kind of styling. So it's going to be a really cool event. You don't have to leave your home, which is great about it, but you still get to get the knowledge and be a part of it. The second day is the town hall meeting where we'll have a panel. Dr. Cheryl Morrow, I'm excited about that. We had a live last week and she said some stuff. I was like, damn.
And she'll be on next week. So if you
notify, okay, I'm gonna be on to watch hers. I definitely hit notify me because we're building legacy. So this is what this event is about, and I'm excited for it. So make sure to get your tickets.
Absolutely. And how do people reach you?
Definitely hit me up on at Evolving Textures on Instagram, Facebook, Evolving Textures. You can go to my website, evolvingtextures.com. My personal IG is Nadra S. Smiley. And all things Evolving Textures, you put me in the Google search, I'm gonna come up. So hit me any way you want to.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to put you backstage. Don't leave because I definitely want to talk to you.
Okay.
Here. And thank you again, Nadra. This is your last name and your smile, just Smiley. You are absolutely that. So thank you so much for dropping knowledge and being the blessing that you have been to us on today.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. So, oh my gosh, that was so amazing, y'all. I hope y'all got a lot out of this. We had a record number of people joining us from all over on all platforms. So we're excited. This conversation about hair has been, like I said, an eye-opener for me. And I hope that we are all going into Black History Month in a couple of weeks with the idea that we have to make the change. Like Nadja talked about, we got to stop talking about it and do it. We have to actually do the work. Where we're seeing there are issues in the world, God gave us our talents and our gifts so that we can give it to the world, not so that we can keep it in secrecy and protection because we're afraid. Afraid is the enemy that wants to rob, steal, and destroy what we're made for. And so we talked about the hair show that is coming up on the 15th and 16th. I highly encourage you to go and get a ticket. If you want to get sample products from our sponsor, the Jeanette Collection, the Isha's production, we want you to get that VIP special so that you can get your package. We definitely think that is like, when I tell you the stuff that they sent that you're going to get, if you sign up for that VIP package, it is well worth it. It's well beyond what you would be purchasing in the store, to just be able to sample. So if you are a stylist, an up-and-coming stylist, if you just want some products to be able to try it out, and we're going to do an unboxing the day of. So we want you to open up the box and we want you to show all their products and talk about it, because this is going to be a space for us to really highlight us, our culture, and all that it is that we have. So join us, get your tickets. You can go to the JuneteenthNY.com website and go to events, and you'll see the Hair Summit, and we want you to be able to get your tickets there. You can go to any of our speakers' pages. They all have affiliate links. We want to be able to support them. They get a percentage of the sales. So this, again, it's about giving back to the community. You see, this is not just about hoarding and all of that. This is about giving back to the people who are doing the work in the community, and we want to be that for our community. So we implore you to tap in. Next week, the whole month of January has been about hair. So next week, we're going to have Dr. Murrow. That is going to be on fire. I'm really excited for her as well. Like, these conversations have been so powerful and just talking about our stand in the world. So I know it's past my time. I'm gonna stop talking. I want to one last thing before we go. I want to talk about the Black King celebration, which is coming up June 18th. We are honoring our African American men, y'all, and that'll be June 18th. But we are doing nominations right now. Our nominations are open until January 31st. The caveat is they have to live in the New York City area. So I'm sorry to all my people and everywhere else, but they have to live in the New York City area. That's who we are honoring. It's going to be a gala. It is always a great time. We got food, we got drinks, we got fun, good times. And just hearing the brothers and being in a space and hearing them talk about what they're doing for the community and how they want us to contribute to it. It's great connection, great partnership, all of that. So get tickets for that. Nominate somebody. It's a quick nomination process. Go to the website and go to the Black Kings area and nominate. So that's all for me, y'all. I am Athenia Rodney, CEO and founder of Juneteenth NYC, and I just want to say thank you. Be blessed, be loved, and live a legacy that is protecting our peace. God bless. Have a great one. Good weekend, y'all.
From the roots of tradition to the rise of reconnection, where history meets the heart of Africa. Celebrate freedom, culture, and homecoming. This isn't just a trip, it's a return. The motherland is calling. Will you answer?